Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. We're going to take a look at one of the new ZT releases for 2018. This is the Zero Tolerance 0462, a collaboration with custom knife maker and custom knife designer Dmitry Sinkovich. So if you've seen this model before, feel like you've seen it before, it is because it is a larger version of a current model in the ZT lineup, and that model is the ZT 0460. So I guess we'll start right off with the size comparison. Now, at the time that I'm recording this video, I just uploaded a short 1-minute video to my Instagram account where I showed this knife completely disassembled. If you want to go take a look at that, same username, EpicSnuggleBunny. But in this video, we'll go through the specs, overall impressions, details. We'll talk about some of the improvements going from the 460 to the 462, and then some of the other stuff going on in 2018 for Zero Tolerance. So jumping into a few different size comparisons here. Again, 460 probably the most appropriate. We have a Chris Reeve large Sabenza 21. We have a Kershaw Dividend that's essentially the same size as the 460. And another one, let's go ahead and grab the Paramilitary 2 to compare it as well. So blade length 3.7 inches. The handle length is 5.25. Overall 8.9 inches total length when open, and it weighs in at a meager 3.7 ounces for what is a very large knife, and that's thanks to the carbon fiber as well as some really heavy skeletonized or internal milling on the titanium handles. So I'll show you guys that in a little bit here, but let's see, it is a frame lock flipper. It does run on bearings, of course, and it has a pocket clip for tip up left and right hand carry. So yeah, but anyways, let's kind of get into the overall impressions. I mean, you know, it's a Zero Tolerance. Their fit and finish is exceptional. Their designs, they work with the best designers. I think they probably do a better job executing custom knife designs than really any other production company, and the value stays actually really good. Street price or dealer price on these is $240, and you're getting premium materials, highly sought after designer / maker. So I mean, it's good all around. I have no complaints. I mean, again, if you're looking at this thing and you're thinking, hey, you know what, I like bigger knives, I think that's a great looking design, done deal, pick it up. You know, you'll like it. So, all right. Now there are actually so those are the overall impressions. Let's talk about some of the improvements on the 462 here from the 460. Let me grab that thing again. So 2018, I'm going to call it the year of consumer feedback for Zero Tolerance. You know, consumers or enthusiasts, especially in the knife community, always hope that, you know, knife companies will hear their cries and implement changes they'd like to see. And, you know, some of the times I look at some of the feedback from people and I think, well, that's a stupid idea. And other times people have pretty decent ideas, you know, as far as things that could be improved. So Zero Tolerance, they implemented a lot of the changes that consumers requested from the 460 to the 462. First of which, you can see that the ZT logo has been removed from the larger 462 here, giving it a completely sterile and clean show side, which is it's gorgeous, right? I mean, I think it looks even better. So I'm a big fan of that change. Another change, again, which I'm anticipating was based on consumer feedback, and you know, one might argue that, you know, the company was going to make all these changes anyway, but one thing they did that I think is really cool is people complained that the carbon fiber on the 460 was more rust than red, and they didn't quite love the rust. Well, the 462 is certainly more red than rust, and it's a very nice color, you know, with that red weaved into the carbon fiber. So that is, you know, again, I would argue an improvement. Another is that you are getting kind of a custom style pivot here, but it uses Torx hardware. It's T8 Torx on the pivot, and it is stainless steel, so you know, I certainly prefer stainless steel hardware. It just seems to hold up better for disassembly and use and so forth. You know, not that this one was bad, but it's you know, this one's nicer. Now another thing too, again, you'll see on my disassembly video on Instagram, but this pivot is captured so it cannot free spin. There's an interesting cutout here in the carbon fiber that aligns with the pivot here, and it won't let it free spin. This one, obviously you can see it has a hex type shape that sits in there. So anyways, nicer hardware. That's cool. Now another improvement, something that people complained quite a bit about on the 460, was the branding on the pocket clip. I don't get it. I didn't really have a problem with the branding on this pocket clip, but a lot of people seem to take issue with that. It's been, redesigned or, made quite a bit more subtle with just the ZT logo on this one, so hopefully that makes people happy. Another improvement is the fact that they're using CPM 20CV here on the, as far as blade steel. This one was done in S35 VN, so again, an improvement in the quality of steel, going from the smaller to the larger. So again, quite a few improvements. A lot of these I feel like were consumer driven, but again, one might argue that they were going to do it anyway. But those are some of the changes going on, aside from obviously just being upscaled in size. But the fact that it was upscaled in size was potentially the result of consumer feedback too. Some of the other models, the 0393 is the production version of the 0392, which again arguably was driven by consumer feedback when people were demanding a production version of this knife. Another model for 2018 is the 0609, which is a smaller standard production version of this very large 0606. So again, a lot of implementations that consumers were asking for, which is awesome. I think that's a great thing. So that's some of the stuff going on, at least with ZT in 2018. They have changed the format. Before, they used to release essentially all their models at SHOT Show. This year they only showed 3 off, and they're basically going to show off or release models as they become closer to the release date, as opposed to everything at the beginning of the year, and then they try to get out as quickly as they could. Apparently that was a lot of work and a lot of stress on the production guys to try to get everything out as quick as possible. So this should be better for everyone, and it'll give our wallets a break in the meantime between each new model. So yes, that's pretty much it. I guess a few other details here. So I already told you the pivot was captured. Another thing is that they're on this one, this one actually you couldn't go left-hand carry. This one you can, and there are stainless steel collars down in the carbon fiber. That way, when you take the screws and you thread them through, they're sitting in an appropriate material rather than just in carbon fiber. So that is pretty cool. All right, let's get into the details on this knife. Again, I've given you a lot of kind of overall looks and changes and improvements and so forth, but look at that action. Woo, it's good. It's really good. So really big fan of the action. Blade steel, CPM, gosh, so many numbers, guys. So hard to keep track of. 20 CV. Nice machine satin finish, probably from the CNC machine. On this one, the secondary bevel going from the tip all the way back, not quite perfect. I think these are sharpened by hand. Anyways, you can see it it's a bit more acute here, travels up. The lock side is, perfect front to back. But anyways, one of those things that happens when people do things by hand. So anyhow, let's take a look at the thickness behind the edge. The blade stock is 0.156 inches. Let's pull out the calipers here. Try to get right behind the edge, see what the thickness is. Yeah, that's pretty fair. 0.02, there we go. 0.02, yeah, 0.025, which I think that's in line with the Parrot 2, to be honest. I want to double check now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, it's going to be 0.025 behind the edge as well. Yeah, pretty much the same thickness behind the edge, although the overall blade stock is actually fairly comparable as well. Interesting. Probably should have done all these measurements before the video, but we're here now. Come on. Zero that out. Blade stock is a bit thinner on the Para, but they both come down to relatively the same blade thickness behind the edge. Yeah. So, anyways, that's thickness behind the edge and so forth. Again, really high quality steel. The machine satin finish is very clean, looks really good. And the flipper tab does have jimping, of course. KBT are stainless steel bearings. There are stainless steel washers, between the carbon fiber and the bearings, and between the titanium and the bearings. So, yeah. All right, the handle. Again, I already showed you guys the pivot. Again, it's captured stainless steel T8 Torx pivots, and carbon fiber is more red. This is a T6 Torx, T8 Torx, T6, and then here's the lock side again. You've got the stainless steel lock insert in there. Some nice machining. One thing, you do need to take the pocket clip off to completely disassemble this knife. Let me move that. Because this is essentially a barrel, and then this is the screw, and so I did need to remove the pocket clip when I disassembled the knife. Backspacer, I believe, is aluminum with some type of anodizing to give it the black coloration there. I guess it's potentially a type 1 anodizing, essentially. So, yeah, that is pretty much it. Centering is spot on, and then the lockup is just rock solid. Again, no surprise there considering it is a zero tolerance knife. So, let's see, anything else that I need to mention as far as the specs? I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, really great knife, really great execution. Again, a lot of things that I love all wrapped into one. Again, I'm really happy to see a larger version of the 460, something that's more in line with what I prefer to carry in my hand size. So anyways, guys, appreciate you watching. If you do pick one up or plan to pick one up, comment in the comment section below. Then once you have it in hand, let me know if I missed anything or if you felt like I hit the mark. But more videos to come. Again, you can follow me on Instagram as EpicSnuggleBunny as well. And thanks so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. See you guys.